Let's talk women's football now because Reading going well. Good start to the season, both domestically and for a couple of their players internationally as well. Grace Moloney is the Reading FC women's goalkeeper, and she's on the line. Grace, good evening to you.
Good evening, Tim. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. So going pretty well for you guys at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, great start to the season. 9 points from our first 3 games, so we couldn't ask for a better start, really.
And how long will you keep that up for? 3 points a game?
Hopefully for the whole season, but we'll take each game as it comes.
It's not just the points, it's the goals. I mean, they're flying in, aren't they? What was it, London Bees 7-0 win?
7.
Yeah, and then more recently, Watford, you beat them 3-0. So you're not short of goals, are you?
No, well, everyone knows Fran, and she's been banging in the goals as well, but all our goals come from different areas as well, so it's good to have different players to score.
Yeah, you mentioned Fran. She scored in the game for England, didn't she, this week against China? I think that was a friendly, wasn't it, in the build-up to the Canada World Cup?
Yeah, last night that was, and she assisted the other goal as well, so she had a really good game.
Yeah, and a couple of, not just Fran on international duty, I think you had a couple of England under-19 players in action. Helen Ward, who we spoke to, I think it was this time last week or maybe a couple of weeks ago, she played for Wales against Slovakia. Great to have internationals in the camp, isn't it?
Yeah, it's brilliant, and we've got loads, to be fair. We've got loads in the Welsh setup, loads in the England setup as well, so it's really good to have, and it's great for them to bring that experience into the side as well.
So what have you got coming up? What's next on your agenda?
We have our next home games on Saturday the 18th of April, and we're at home to Yeovil. That's at 6 o'clock at Farnborough.
Yeah, so over at Farnborough at 6 o'clock against Yeovil. And just as a goalkeeper, I'm always interested to talk to goalkeepers in a situation where you're playing for a really good team, which clearly you are. It's about concentration, I suppose, isn't it? Because you must go for large stretches without too much to do and then have to do something crucial and then, barren spells again. Is it quite a tough challenge, isn't it, keeping in such a good team?
Yeah, it is. And especially in our last 2 games, I probably touched the ball about 3 times in our last game, but it's always moving with the ball, staying switched on, talking to your players, organising the back four, just to make sure you keep switched on.
Because we had this discussion on the show the other week about goalkeepers who are playing in poor teams effectively get a whole lot more practice than somebody like you who's playing in a very good team. Do you feel you get better playing in a very good team, or do you get better playing in a very bad team as a goalkeeper? Does that question make sense?
Yeah, and yes and no, because in training, because I'm in a better team, I have better players shooting against me, and so it'll test me in that sense. But in games, it'll be the opposite. So I'll have less to do. But obviously, when we come up against the likes of Chelsea and Arsenal in the Continental Cup, then that'll be a harder game for us.
I reckon you might be tested occasionally in those games.
Hopefully, anyway.
I think that's fair to say. Great to speak to you. Good luck in the game against Yeovil. Hope that goes well. And keep those clean sheets. That's brilliant. There's lots of clean sheets at the moment. We hope that continues for a good while yet. Thank you, Grace. Nice to speak to you. That's Grace Moloney, who is the Reading women's goalkeeper. Reading women's team on every week at the same time on this show.